All right, you guys, looking at question number 7, when we're talking about 15% solution, 45% of a solution, and we want to combine them to make 35%. We want to make 30 liters of 35% solutions. So if you look at the top where I defined my variables, I defined 2 variables. You could just do it by 1. I just did an extra step here. So what I have here is I have x is the 15% solution. And then I wrote over here in green, it's liters of that solution. Okay, x is not 15%, it's the amount of liters of that 15% solution. And y, right below it, y is the liters of 45% solution. Okay, so x is my liters right here. So I have 15, so 0.15 times the amount of liters of x plus 0.45, so that's 45% times y is equal to 35%, and I already know that I want 30 liters of that 35%, so it's 0.35 times 30. Then my second equation, because if you want to solve for variables, if I have 2 variables and I want to solve for it, I have to have 2 equations. So my second equation is x plus y equals 30. The amount of liters of x and the amount of liters of y, I need to be 30 liters. Okay. Then I solved for y, and I got y equals 30 minus x. Okay. Pretty easy to solve that for y. And then I'm going to substitute this back into the original equation. So 0.15 times x, that stays the same. Then I'm adding 0.45 of y, but instead of y, I put 30 minus x, okay, equals 0.35 times 30. So now I have, let me move this up a little bit, oops, down a little bit. Now I have, and I'll change this to green, 1 variable and 1 equation. So I can solve for x, right? So what happens now is 0.15x, that stays 0.15x, but I distribute the 0.45 through. So 0.45 times 30 is 13.5 right here, and then minus 0.45x equals 10.5, and that 10.5 comes from multiplying 0.35 times 30. Then I combine my x's. So 0.15x minus 0.45x gives me 0.3x plus 13.5 equals 10.5. Then here I subtract 10.5 from both sides and I add 0.3x to both sides so that my x is positive, so I don't have to worry about having any negatives. What that gives me is this 3 comes from right above it, 13.5 minus 10.5, and then I have positive 0.3x on the other side. And if you take 0.3, or if you take 3 and divide it by 0.3 to get x by itself, you get 10, right? So the amount of solution that you need for a 15% solution is 10 liters, but you still have to figure out how many liters of the 45% solution. So you go back to this equation here. Remember, y equals 30 minus that x, so we subtract 10. So of the 45% solution, we need 20 liters, right? Now, but I want to answer this in a complete sentence. Remember, my A needs a complete sentence. So I'm going to try something here. Let's take everything off, and I will write a complete sentence here. Let me change my paint color to black. So I will say, in order to create 30 liters of 0.35, or let's just do 35% solution, I will need to combine 10 liters of 15% solution and 20 liters of 45% solution, right? And so you need more of the 45% solution because 35% is closer to 45% than 15% is. So it needs a little bit of a higher concentration. Let me know if you still have questions about this.